back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bass University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break. Watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show. Get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
This Bass you go. You know, we didn't have that back then. And dude, it can just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
All right, we're talking during the break, but we are live, guys. Welcome to Bass University Live. We are live from the Open, the Bassmaster Northern Open down on the James River. That's where I'm coming to you from, and it's really cool to be back out on the tournament trail. There's so much going on, and we're going to be talking about that with me, with my roommate McGraw, with Brooks Parker, my practice partner. We're going to be talking about the James River tonight, so that'll be cool. And we have Wes Logan, the champ, just brought down the elite win at Lake Neely Henry. A crazy win. I mean, the water's up, the water's down, the water's left, right. Switching up, change-ups, fastballs. Who the heck knows what they're going to do today? But Wes figured it out, and he pulled out a nail-biter. Swindle held the lead. Paul Mueller banging a 6-pounder. It's crazy. We're going to have Wes on tonight, and we're going to be talking to him about his amazing win. And that is what's happening at Bass University tonight, guys. So hang in there with us. We've got a lot of great stuff going on. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, if you're still hanging out on Facebook, go over and get subscribed. We had our spring discount is running out tonight. It's $50 off or 50 days free. It ends tonight. Go get signed up. And guys, that if you're a subscriber, get your instant message questions through to us. We use it on the air. We're going to hook you up with some cool swag. If you insist on watching us on Facebook, like and share it over there. And we've got a great prize for you. And we've got a lot of great stuff tonight. And I see on my Zoom feed, of course, we got JK is in the house from Northern Georgia. It's good to have you, buddy.
Man, great to be here. Excited for our friend Wes, like you were saying. Just an awesome win. Great to see him close that big one out in his home body of water where he cut his teeth. But I want to congratulate our friends at the top of the show, our friends in Gadsden, Alabama. Greater Gadsden area tourism, Bucks Island. They're great partners of ours. They help us by hosting seminars in Gadsden. That is our home in Alabama. Gadsden is our home in Alabama, and we love going there. We've been there a few years. We took the COVID year off. We'll be back there next year. I really hope so. I'm pretty sure we will, barring any crazy events. But, man, I want to congratulate them because Neely Henry, they have advocated for that lake. They've done things. They've invested in bass fishing. And they have been saying, why not us? It's always Guntersville. It's always this lake or that lake. And they brought it, man. You know, I think Neely Henry was actually capable of bigger weights than we saw. But we saw great fish catches. And, man, the back and forth nature of that event was so captivating. You know, I didn't have a derby this weekend. So, man, I was glued in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was absolutely glued in. I thought 6 or 7 different people were going to win that tournament at one point or another. Yeah. And it kept changing, and somebody else kept making the change. And, of course, Wes made all the right ones, or enough of them, that is. And I just wanted to congratulate them because, man, so cool to see them advocate. You know, our pal Dan O'Sullivan and Hugh Stump and the great people they have down there in Gaston, just to see them pull off that event, and hometown kid wins.
It was a hometown kid wins, and what a great event! It had to be one of the most exciting ones to watch, the back and forth action. And Neely Henry's always going to hold a place in my heart. It's where I made my first classic. I scored enough points at Neely Henry to sneak into my very first Bassmaster Classic.
Wow. I did not know that, Pete. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
You've got some good history in Alabama. You won on Lake Martin. That's pretty awesome.
Alabama's been good to me over the years, catching those. Of course, we called them Coosa River spots, but now I think we got to call them. What do we got to call them now? Alabama spotted bass.
Well, I heard that's what a large majority of people are, but the locals would still prefer you to call them Coosa River spots, apparently.
Well, I'm sure
there's some disgruntled.
They're attached to it, but the cool part is that if you've ever caught one of those bass, they fight. They are bullies, as strong as any fish, any black bass that pulls. And so much so, it caused them to really look into the genealogy of the species. And as it turns out, it's some type of it's a unique species that swims in that river. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's super cool, and powerhouses, and what a deal. But congratulations to all of our friends down at Gadsden and Neely Henry.
Little balls of hate, said Peter.
What's that?
Little balls of hate.
Balls of hate.
Yeah, little balls of hate.
Is that?
You'll find out shortly. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, you'll find out shortly. But hey, guys, Riz isn't joining us tonight. Riz is on the road tonight, so we're missing him out. So I'm going to do my best to fill in for him with you guys over on the IM board. So please send in your questions. We're going to try to take as many as possible. As always, we'll be giving out some prizes when we use your question. If you're watching over on Facebook or YouTube, guys, head on over to BashUTV.live, BashU.TV/live. Just like Pete says, 50-day free trial. This is the last day that you're going to be able to take that. Probably the last day of the year. I don't know. I'm in charge of that, so we'll see. But I mean, $50 off an annual, guys. We're not going to do that again for a while. So tonight is your last chance. So go on over, join us over there, and just running over some member benefits with you guys. We're always trying to give you guys the best deals and discounts with our partners. We've got over 10 right now, and word on the street is we've got more coming. So these things include like Rapala VIP, that's like 40 to 50% off over there. Flambeau, Missile Baits, Gills Gear, Empire Covers, Sea Clear Power, $25 off of cash and rod, American made rod, and so much more, guys, and constantly coming. Not only that, but of course we're inching close to 900 videos on BashU.TV with our library. We'll hit over 1,000 before the end of the year with the way I think scheduled, Pete. And we're always trying to outkick the coverage there for you guys. So come on over if you haven't yet. Give us a try. We'll show you that you can find more here than you can anywhere else in this resource.
And how many Bass University subscribers have I seen this week down at the James River?
I
mean, that's gonna be our trivia question for tonight.
Is it?
It's nonstop. It's nonstop. It's people stopping to say hi. They appreciate what we're doing. Stopping at the gas station. Just thanking us for letting me know they're a subscriber. Just wall to wall. Bash U. It's inundated in the fishing community, and I'm so proud of that, and I appreciate that. And it's great. It's great to be out here amongst everybody, seeing everybody, and talking to them about it, and getting some of the amazing feedback. So it's Bash University all the time down here, and we have a tournament going on. Oh my Lord! Are we going to take a break, Brian? We just want to keep rolling. What do you want to do?
Commercial, buddy.
We got to take a commercial break.
We're contractually obligated, Peter.
We have to pay, we have to pay the bills. I'm sure everybody can appreciate that. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Hey, guys, you got questions about the James River? I do not have any answers, but I will be here to field the questions. I've spent the last 3 days on the river. Hey, you guys want to talk tides? You want to talk James River? Hang out with us. All of us have been practicing. We're going to be talking that. And Wes Logan, the Elite Series champ, fresh off a win, is going to be here shortly. So hang in there. We'll be right back after this.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out doing a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
2021 Red Crest champion Dustin Connell here, and if you watch live coverage, we just got done at Lake Eufaula. I caught my fish using the active target with Lowrance. What you didn't see is I run a Sea Clear power harness in my boat. One of the main advantages of running this harness is it does not drain my batteries down at all running my 4 units. And what that's going to allow me to do is I'm able to see my bait at 8 a.m. just as good late in the day. Y'all check them out at seaclearpower.com.
You take pride in your boat, so it deserves the best protection possible. Our durable woven fabric prevents ripping and provides UV protection, and our tape seams provide protection against the elements. The heavy-duty shock cord hem and strap and buckle system provide a tight and secure fit. Our top-of-the-line boat covers come with a ventilation system to keep your boat free from mold buildup. Empire Covers, protecting what you love.
All right, welcome back to Bass University Live. What a deal, man. Back at the Northern Opens. The Northern Opens were shut down for a couple years, and they brought this division back. I'm so psyched about it, and I'm excited to be participating in the Bassmaster Northern Opens this year. First one on the James River, and man, oh man, what a deal, JK. I came down here expecting to sight fish and bed fish, and it's that can be done. But and I'm sure there's guys that have found bigger ones than I have, but I'd be surprised if that's going to win the tournament this week.
Well, I'm looking forward to following along and seeing. I've got all these kind of questions to ask you. I will say this: you guys are going to deal just like. Maybe not some water fluctuation. Well, you're always dealing with water fluctuation at a tide, but the cold front. We're getting a cold front this week down here in the south. Are you guys gonna have some extreme temperature drops or anything like that up there?
I cannot remember, and I'm looking it up right now. I cannot remember a more stable weather pattern than we're experiencing right now. We got a mini blip tomorrow where it's going to be down in 64, but it's like 69, 70, 68, 70. It's just 70 degrees every day. And and that's what it is. No wind to speak of, no rain to speak of.
Sunshine?
It's what?
Is there going to be a lot of sunshine?
Fair amount of sunshine. Fair amount of sunshine every day. It's just, it's stable. It's not hot. And, that's one of the things that is interesting to me is because the hot weather this time of year when the fish are in this stage does a couple of things. It'll bring the last wave or the last push of spawning fish up. And but it'll also it'll drive those fry garters and all those, the ones that are recovered from this, it'll drive them to feed, right? It'll push.
Wow, yeah.
That heat will push them to the next phase, which is where I want them to go. I want them to go there right now. Do not stop. Do not collect $200. Do not pass. Just go right to the feed, man. Put on the feed bag and let's go. With this, begging them to bite a little, drop shot or, stick bait. But I don't know that we're going to get that this week. I think our weather's just stable enough. We've got fish doing all kinds of things, man. It's been, I haven't seen a pre-spawn bass, but post-spawn and spawning fish, we've got that, in spades. It's kind of weird, because you watch these other tournaments go on down in Texas and down in Alabama, and they're talking about catching spawners, they're talking about sight fishing down there, and we're so far up north, and it seems like, man, we're right at the end of it up here already,
Yeah, and that's crazy because we just had our strongest wave come in like a week or two ago. And there's, I went for a little bit this weekend, and there were empty beds everywhere. Yeah. So that wave must have just come, a week or two prior, and we're down in Georgia, and you're up there, and you're saying that it's already at the end. That's crazy to me. Does it happen quicker up there? Does it just go faster? Like ours lasts forever.
I think so. I think it just goes faster. Down in Florida, they spawn for 5-6 months or more. And up here, it just seems like, man, they come on, they get their job done, and then they get back to eating shad or herring or whatever they have.
That's everything happens quicker up here.
Yes. That's kind of true. But let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to introduce to the people. I want to introduce Brooks Parker, who's sitting to my left. JK, you know him. BTC.
Oh yeah.
I think you're meeting him for the first time. But Brooks
looks familiar.
I've been working with Brooks since he was 8 years old.
What?
His father and him came out on the Chesapeake with me. That was a long time ago. It's 10 years ago now, and I'll never forget. We still talk about Brooks had this giant fish as long as your arm, and had it right to the boat. And we had a line failure right at the boat, and it was just a giant fish. We still talk about it. That's what keeps us coming back. And
I can't stand when guides use crappy gear, Brooks. When you pay for a guide and you take him out and he didn't even retie from like 3 trips before, and then crack.
I'm gonna take that on the chin, even though it probably wasn't my gear.
We've all been there. You take those little saltwater trips on the coast or something, and like you land half of them and the other half break your line, and like, man, I should have brought my own stuff.
Should have brought my own gear. But Brooks is man from back then. Like if you've ever taken kids fishing at 8 years old, their attention span's not that strong. Brooks would fish all day and never want to quit. And start back then, and now it's crazy. He's about to go to college and participate on a college fishing team. And I got to be honest, he was working with me out of the back of the boat, and the skill set has developed so much over these years, and I got to see it over these last few days. I love doing this with my practice partner. I can use a power bait, I can use a fast bait, and if I can put something useful in their hands, we can cover the water so efficiently. And I had Brooks pitching, flipping, throwing a drop shot, which he's extremely proficient at, and it gets bites everywhere we go on it. I probably shouldn't say that, guys that are fishing this tournament, but it was awesome to practice with you, Brooks. You come a long way.
Thank you. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time.
We caught fish lots of fish every day. We got lots of bites every day, and I don't think we found the winning fish yet, though.
No, probably not.
Probably not. We saw some nice ones. We saw some nice ones today, so we'll see.
So the question I have, Pete, is you normally take a day off before a derby.
Mm-hmm.
It's customary, you know. I think it dates back to your old FLW days where they gave everybody the day off mandatory. But are you going to take it tomorrow, or are you going to work?
I will let you know at the end of the day tomorrow. It depends. Right now, I've got to get some rigging, get my boat in order, and get, you know, because we got wanted to be here to do the show. So after this, we're gonna keep working and get all our stuff done. We get everything done. JK, tonight I want to get on the water tomorrow and expand on what I found today, because I got into some heavier quality fish today, and
which leads me to this comment that is it's not even a question, but it's a comment. And I'm giving him the first Gills gift card just because I can, because I'm running the show tonight. So $25 Gills Gear gift card. First one goes to Wild Bill for this observational comment on, let's see if I can go find it. I'm not as quick as as old Riz, but here he goes. He says, "Hey JK, Pete seems very laid back, and now I'm tying it into Pete found some heavier fish today." So great observation, Wild Bill. You're right. He does. I honestly think Pete might be pretty excited to fish this derby.
Well, it's the kind of, you got to be careful about what you want. Like when you think you found the winning fish, you never have. And like it's almost better. Like today, I did a lot of running after I had some success and covering water, looking at habitat and looking at things that I'm gonna fish during the tournament. I'm gonna continue to practice, and that, it's going to go one way or the other, right? It's either going to be a complete flop, or it's going to put you, close to the winner's circle. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to get to the Classic, so I'm going to try to win.
Yes, sir.
And I'm never going to stop trying to win. If I haven't found them, the winning caliber fish, I'm going to continue to look and continue to push until, and try different patterns, techniques, areas, whatever it takes to try to get it done. So that answers the question. Hopefully I get on the water tomorrow.
What's it like out there, Pete? This is a big field, right? 200 boats.
Yeah, there's like 2,000 boats, and
2,000, right?
It's crowded. Boats are all bunched up in the same areas. Wherever there is a fish to be caught, there's at least 100 boats there. Where there's no fish to be caught, that's where you can fish by yourself.
All right, so let me ask you, strategy-wise, Pete, because sitting back here, I cringe thinking of all the fish that are being caught that aren't getting weighed in, right? And like the beating that the body of water is taking right now, leading up to the event. What's the right call? You find fish. How far do you expand on them? How many? How? All right. So today's Tuesday. What day's the event?
Thursday.
How much did you set the hook today?
Here's the deal. Like I have a strategy where, unless I know how big the fish is, I'll set until I get a feel. Because right now, honestly, you're setting the hook on a lot of 12-inch fish. A lot of fish that are small, bank runners, hanging around the spawning areas, or they're small fish. So, you want to look at enough fish so that you have an understanding of where the bigger ones are, what the bigger patterns are. So, sometimes you can tell, and I shake them off. Other times you really got to get a feel for it. So, but that's the way I do it. Other people are just wide open setting hooks. Other people are shaking everything off. I don't know, but there's no question that this body of water is taking a beating. And I want to bring in somebody. Brooks, I want to thank you for being my partner this week. I appreciate it, buddy. And I want to bring in somebody that you know, BTC.
Nuts.
Who's been out here with us all week.
I haven't seen this guy in forever.
John McGraw.
I know that. I know this guy.
What's up,
Johnny? Everybody knows you by BTC. It's funny because I was down here and I was talking to a handful of people, and they're like, BTC, BTC, BTC. Like, who the fuck? Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, this is Bass U, not Ike Live.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know John McGraw,
he's the fastest man on campus. Tell him, John.
Fastest man on campus. How many nicknames do I have? Actually,
you got a lot.
In person.
Yeah.
Well, he is. I'll give you the credit for designing the stone jig, which many of you know that Ike used to great success. Designed the Berkeley Beast.
Still catches them.
The Beast.
Yep. And tremendous lure designer, and now he's fishing the opens with us. Lifelong friend of Ike and Stockland, of course. John and I have become friends, over the last 15, 20 years. We've got to know each other, and
it's been more like 20 years now.
Has it really?
Yeah.
John, sit a little closer, or project your voice.
Little closer.
You're a little quiet, buddy.
I'm pulling up. Yeah. I'm pulling up on Pete's spot. Right? I'm gonna backboat him for a second here.
I like the Bass U jersey that you're wearing. I appreciate that.
It's the only 2X that you actually gave me, and so it's the only one that actually fits me. And I think all the rest fit my wife.
Well, we'd like to see some images of that too.
Oh, OJ.
Well, talk to me about practice. Like you asked about conditions, Brian. Right now we got about 60, upper 60s, 70-degree water temperature, and it's just staying there. Gets a little cool at night. Like I said, I think we got fish that are in the spawn and post-spawn phase. There's probably pre-spawners out there. God bless you if you found them. I didn't find them yet. And
I found one pre-spawner. That was it.
Yep. The water clarity is typical for the river. I tell you what we are experiencing that is really interesting down here is we have a new moon and it's driving the water out of the bay like crazy. Water. We're getting these extremely low tides.
Wow.
And it's
I hit a log yesterday, man, and shot right out of the water, and luckily nothing happened. Right, this place is like literally the same as the Delaware, right? And the Delaware has water. You know what I mean?
Depth.
It has depth, but the James doesn't have depth. It has depth in the main river, but all those like outside outshoots are kind of like shallow.
Oh man,
compared to what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's dirt shallow here, and then you take the water away. It's a classic Chesapeake body of water. It's all flat and the water went out. But the lily pad habitat, which is a dominant player down here, when the water goes away, man, there's nowhere for the fish to go but out, and they have to leave that cover. So, I don't know, but it's day to day. The moon cycles change and the water comes back, and we'll see what happens. But
I think the tide's going to be a big player. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I got actually a subscriber question on the message board. Guys, if you're watching on Facebook, our subscribers will get to win prizes when they ask a question. And since you're talking about tide, I figure this is just perfect. Our question comes from Howie. Howie, go ahead and send me your customer number. We will send you a prize pack sponsored by our friends from Humminbird. Put some goodies in there for you. Pete, have you been chasing the tides or just staying in one area and just waiting for the tide change?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
During the spawn, the tide, the high water can actually be a real benefit and allow you to get closer to those fish, especially when you can't see them and you're blind fishing. And post-spawn, summertime patterns, we want to run the tides. But I'm looking now at my tide chart, and, we have two bodies of water here, one way down about 70 miles away that's going to draw a lot of boats. and it's going to have low tide roughly 10 o'clock on Thursday morning.
How many miles away?
70
Wow.
miles.
Oh,
It's in the
7.
middle of the chick.
Yeah.
It's in the middle or the very end of the Chickahominy.
The Chickahominy River.
Yeah.
It's got Florida strains. It's got a great bass population. It's got great habitat, but you're giving up 2 hours minimum. Of course, if you're running a bass cat, it's only an hour and a half you're giving up. But it's a long boat ride, and
7 miles.
Yeah, 70 miles. It's
70 miles. All right, my bad, dude.
Yeah. So you have low tide down there at roughly 10 o'clock on Derby Day, and we put that over to where we're launching, and low tide is roughly going to be 1:30. So how about that tide difference in a 70-mile boat ride? You have almost a 3.5-hour tide difference from downriver to upriver. And yes, you can run the tides. And I'm telling you right now, I've practiced in both sections of the river and others, but I've thought about, where I want to be and when I want to be there. And I don't know if I'm going to run the tide in a classic fashion where you're chasing that low tide. I might do it a little differently this year because of the nature of the low water. Some of the areas I'm fishing, I want to see some water on,
Yes, and because of COVID. Now this is actually one of those like outliers, right? Because of COVID, we actually have almost a 3-hour check-in window from launching at first.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think check-in is going to be around 5 o'clock, and the first guys, the first boat, number 1, is going to check in around 2:30. So we're going to look at a 3-hour check-in window, right?
Wow.
So if you're our last boat, right, it's going to take you a good 45 minutes to get on underway. Well, you're going to have another two and a half, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes of fishing time.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's a monster. That's a monster difference. If you're first flight, it's great you get to go to your first spot. But if you're last flight, you might get up to 3 extra hours of fishing time.
Yeah.
Whoo!
That's right there.
Man, with such a big field, that makes sense.
The another X factor you guys have going on is, and I think it's stretching its way up to Virginia, but down here in the South, the last day or two, I mean, guys, we're out of gas with this fuel shortage. I mean, are you guys getting the long lines at the gas stations right now? Like, is that happening up there? Because we're out.
Happened to me today, and I had to wait an hour to get to the pumps. And then when I got to the pumps, I squeezed out every drop I could. I filled every gas tank. I filled everything up. And it's going to be everybody's got gas here in our area, generally speaking so far. But here's the deal: we're all burning it up. Everybody, whoever's making that long boat ride, you're burning 50 gallons of fuel a day in the boat, and everybody's going to have to fill those up. So they actually talked in the tournament meeting today, in the tournament briefing, that at this time they're not going to make any, they're not going to change anything. But if things tighten up, they may have to cancel a day or postpone a day. Who knows what the tournament director may face if guys can't get fuel,
Yeah, man, I say just let you guys go out there. Whoever's got gas, whoever doesn't, you just, it's the playing field. Put the trolling motor down at the ramp and catch some release fish, for crying out loud. Let's have a trolling motor derby.
4 or 5 to a boat, man, whatever it takes. Get out there. Well, we shall see. Now, I will tell you, I ran into our boy Ike out on the water, and I'm going to be, if you hang in to the end of the show, I'm going to be giving his waypoints. But no, he like Mike always does. He's, gosh almighty, he always has the greatest practices in the history of the world.
He does.
It's
I've been witness to it though, man. The guy figures it out and catches them, man.
but he's had a pretty good practice, and he's trying to figure out which direction he's going to go. Because he has too many options. That's probably his biggest problem right now.
Isn't it always? Too many options. I'll never forget practicing with Ike at Oneida. And I'm telling you, he did a whole lap around the lake in 4 days of practice or 5 days or something like that. And I'm telling you, he figured them out northeast to northwest and southwest to southeast and back around again. And it's like come tournament time, it's like, well, where do I start?
Well, I guess that's a good problem to have. I don't know, but he's looking to get back to the Classic too. He's swinging for the fences, and it's pretty cool to have him here. We didn't know what Ike was going to be fishing this year, and we know he's going to be doing the Opens. I think he's picking up a few of the Toyota Series as well, and well. We'll see. I'm going to do everything that I can do to prevent a repeat occurrence of Ike's last win.
And repeat.
we're going to try to prevent that. So
repeat.
It appears my camera is froze. I don't know why.
Your camera froze?
Yeah, but I am now.
I don't see you frozen.
Yeah,
but
I'm now a stupid face. Yeah.
Pete, I'm excited. I did get to talk to Rich a couple times today, and Riz is down there practicing at Kerr for the Bass Nation. We didn't get to talk to him about it on the show today, but
yeah, what's that tell you?
He's got a little something figured out. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Everybody's fishing, man. I'm sitting here in the office waiting for Pete and I played phone tag today a couple times, and I was just thinking I'm missing out on some information, just trying to live vicariously through you out there. But I'm excited. Everybody's fishing. You got Ike and Pete and Riz this weekend. I bet Brian chases after bigs. I've got a tournament this weekend. Man, we're all fishing. Let's go bring the winning culture back to Bass U this weekend.
Bring it back. It never leaves. And
that's right.
Guys, you can check this all out. I'm filming it this week. We're documenting everything that goes down out here, so you can look for that coming up as a new release. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun trying to go through that process. And I don't even realize it's funny once you got those cameras rolling all the time, you just forget they're on.
Ooh, that's scary.
I know.
Hey, just want to say we had Jake Whitaker on the Facebook saying what's up. Elite Series angler Jake Whitaker and the.
What's up, Jake? Yeah. Good derby this week, Jake. Good derby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who actually won over there in Neely?
And Bassmaster was on the YouTube feed saying, "Take care of our boy tonight." So, without further ado, what do you say, man? Let's get Wes in here.
Let's get him. Let's get the champ.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. If you need
good luck, John.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, good luck, John. Give me a call sometime. Remember, do you still got my number?
Yeah, it goes both ways, brother.
I'm a busy guy, dude.
I'm BTC, bitches.
Yeah, dude. I'll put my list up against yours any day.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it.
All right.
Well, we're very excited, and BTC is going to be pulling his move
right now. Here.
And man, what a dynamic and entertaining week it was. What a tournament week it was. And I see him on my Zoom feed, so I know I can introduce him now. He is the champ. He threw curveballs, fastballs. He hit changeups. He did everything sideways, and he did it on his home body of water. And he won Lake Neely Henry, a big giant blue trophy. Wes Logan, the champ. The champ. Welcome.
Appreciate y'all having me, guys.
Man, it's great. We were talking about it on break. We just I know you're still giddy with the win, but we're giddy from watching it, man. It was totally entertaining, back and forth. What a cool tournament, but you did it. You did it at home. Has the party stopped?
No. I mean, it's still pretty wide open. I mean, my dang phone's still blowing up. It's going off right now. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I'm gonna ride it until it goes away for sure.
I don't blame you a bit, man. It was a long time coming. I mean, you've been in this spot before, and you had some, you weren't able to close, or things didn't go your way the last day. But man, oh man, you came up big when you really needed to this week.
Yeah, I haven't had that long of a career. I mean, I'm only 26, but I've had a couple opportunities, at some really big titles, and like you said, just wasn't able to close it out. And for it to all come to fruition, at home in front of the whole family and all my friends and stuff, that made it that much more special.
That's
good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I just think, isn't that how you learn how to close, Pete? You not everybody gets it the first time. Like you led the FLW Cup, I believe, going into the last day last year at Gunnersville. I mean, these are big pressure-filled spots where you got the best in the world gunning for you, and you got to go out and close the deal. And so to see you, I won't say that you were incapable of it before, but this time it was just your time. Now, he says he's just 26 years old. But Wes started fishing, and Wes, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but Wes started fishing derbies, tournaments with his dad at 5 years old on Neely Henry. 5 years old, like legitimately fishing tournaments. And before you were old enough to drive a truck, I believe your dad was dropping you off at the boat ramp so you could drive the boat, since you couldn't drive a truck, drive a boat up the river to go fish evening derbies. And apparently I heard from, I believe it might have been your grandfather, that you always won big fish pretty much. So you cut your teeth fishing tournaments on Neely. And that, to me, that's 20 years tournament experience.
Yeah.
Just on Neely.
The main thing about that all was it was my dad, my mom, and my granddad because when you're in Alabama, you can be 12 years old and operate a boat if you have a boater's license. So when I turned 12 years old, they would literally take me to the lake and just drop me off. Or if we had an evening tournament, just take me out there. And I'd literally go fishing by myself at 12 years old. So I was, I always go back to, it's not that hard to catch a bass. Like if you know where he lives, like it's not, that's the hard part is making the decisions and figure out where he lives. So I was making those decisions that early on that lake. I mean, obviously not everywhere else, but I mean, I'm sure that had a lot to do with me winning this week too. Because I mean, one crazy thing about it was all week when I was fishing, like there was just memories running through my head. Like I'd look over at this log and be like, well, we've caught like five pounders off that log. I just need one of them. Or we've caught some 3-pound spots on this bank. Like just a bunch of memories and stuff I could bank on and stuff like that from, well, like you said, like 18 to 20 years of experience.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
You nailed it. And JK, you're right. And I honestly, I think this is an important part of winning is losing. Like you have to lose. You have to walk through that thing, and suffer and learn from it. And then when something like this happens, here's the beauty, Wes, is once you've bridged that, once you've made it there, you're going to do it again. It's a level of confidence comes about. We heard the Bass commentators talking about Paul Mueller. I think Zona was weighing in that once Paul won, all of a sudden he changed as an angler and became a threat. Became the guy that could just pack his bags and do something different on the final day when he needed to, like he did this weekend. And that's that's what we think we're going to see from you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the thing that I look back on from yesterday, because the day really started out like most of the championship days I fished on, like I felt like I was like in a rush. I was wanting it to happen like right off the bat and just be cool the rest of the day where, I'll go back to Brandon Polnick texted me the night of day 3 and he said, dude, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. Just let the process take place. Let it just let it happen throughout the day. If it doesn't happen right off the bat, it's fine. Just if it's like you said, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And it wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden around lunchtime, like I got a bite, I got another bite, I got another bite. And before I knew it, I was like, I got him. Like I got real close to what I need. And it just, even though it didn't happen right off the bat, like it still was able to happen in that 8 hours of, like, it doesn't have to happen in the first 30 minutes. It can happen in the last 10 minutes. So I think that's one thing I'm going to take away from it that's really going to help me out.
I think so too. And one thing, like I got to go back to this moment because it was a powerful moment. Like I told you, like I'm losing I'm so, dialed into this stuff. I can't stop listening. I'm out practicing for my tournament, but I can't stop listening to you battle through this thing. And I have my phone on, I'm playing it. I'm listening to the play-by-play. And there was a moment, and take me through this because I didn't get to see it, but what happened? Like a fish missed your swim jig, and you seem to like, why did this happen? How could this happen on this?
I remember what I said. It was my stupidity because there was a little grass mat and you've got current hitting it on one side. And I mean, obviously fish sit with their face, facing into the current. Well, for some reason I threw to the back side of the mat. Like it was probably the size of a dinner plate. And I threw to the downriver side of the mat with my swim jig. And I swam it up to it. And there was a long lay-in, like a piece of grass, and my jig come up to it and hit it. And I literally saw the mat move, like the fish spun around. And when he did, it like jumped over it, like didn't even touch the jig, didn't even get it, didn't open its mouth or nothing. And I just sat there. I was like, why did that have to happen today? Like, I just don't like, it's just going to be one of those where Wes chokes again. And I sat there on spot lock and I threw, I think 3 or 4 times. And I got about 5 foot from the mat on the 4th cast. And she just like demolished it. And I mean, I ended up catching it. It was like a 3 1/4, maybe a little bit bigger, my second biggest fish. But like, just knowing that when I caught the fish, like I didn't really think about it, but looking back on it, like I wasn't supposed to catch that one. And that happened all week. I wasn't supposed to catch that one, and I wasn't supposed to catch that one, and I did catch it. So when all of that comes together, I mean, that's how you win. But and the thing about it is that's how close you can be to winning and losing is throwing to the wrong side of a dinner plate size mat. And,
yeah.
Oh man!
Wow.
It's crazy to think about it in those terms.
Yeah, and I want you to I want to dive into that a little bit. Okay, not everybody. I'm from the South, and I've got some lakes where I'm with you on this water willow deal, but not everybody understands it, right? And you're doing it out on the main river was your deal this week. But man, explain. I want you to describe to our guys watching what water willow, the Coosa River grass, what that water willow is. Describe it, and then just why the bass use it, and how those fish set up in it, because there's a lot of guys who I saw on live miss a lot of fish throughout the week. Yeah. And in my mind, I grew up fishing and like, oh man, he made the wrong cast there, just kind of like what you're alluding to, but that guy might not know it because he doesn't have the experience. I want you to bring that to life here. So explain the grass and then explain to us, how the fish use it and why those precise casts are so important with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I was on 2 different, aspects of the lake during the week. I was fishing some backwater stuff earlier in the week, before the water level started messing up. And, that you can the casting angles doesn't really make as big a deal when you're in some backwaters where there's no current. But with that water willow grass, basically what it is you got a stalk, like probably as big around as a pencil, and it's got leaves on the top of it. Well, what them fish will do is that where all that stuff is a hard bottom. It's kind of like a lily pad. It's kind of like a muddy river lily pad. The bottom's going to be a little bit harder. They use it to spawn around. But also what will happen is you'll have some that'll break off and like lay over. And like, I think like when it starts to die or something, when it's broke up, there literally be like a slime, like mossy type thing, like grow around it. So it basically makes like a miniature mat, which provides shade for them. So they'll actually slide up under there. And I mean, it's a good place, a dark place for them to hide, ambush bait and stuff like that. But going on to out on the river like I did the last day, I actually didn't fish any of that stuff where I caught them yesterday in the tournament. Where I caught them, I hadn't even made a cast that week. Now, I'd caught a bunch there in the past. Like, I knew how good it could be. But what happens out there on the river is where that grass can grow on the riverbank, there's no current hitting directly on where that grass is growing. Now, it might be 6 inches out in front of it, which makes it perfect for that bass to be able to just ease back up in there and something comes flowing by him and he runs out there and gets it. Now, if you're fishing it when there's no current, your casts aren't near as important either. I mean, you're going to look for, obviously, you're going to look for the holes. You're going to look for the little cuts in it, the points, whatever. But the points become a lot more, precise when that current's hitting it. Because when I'll say this, and it's not a big known thing in the water willow, at least on the Coosa River. On the river grass, the fish don't live in it. They move up in there to eat. So they're not in that grass all day. They don't live up in there. Like, they will pull up off the river ledge or off the little drop. I wouldn't call it really a river ledge, but off the drop, they'll pull up there and eat. And that's why you can go back through certain stretches at different times and get a bite behind people. But going back to that is when he pulls up there to eat, he's going to set up in his best opportunity to eat whatever comes by him, whether it's on a log laying in the grass, a point of the grass, a little bowl where he can come up through and get it and see. So, I mean, that's really the main thing. But like going back to that wrong cast that I made, if I had brought, and I'm not saying he may not have even ate it, but I feel like you could bring that bait in front of his face, he's not going to miss it. Like, he's sitting there waiting. Obviously, he was sitting there ready to eat. He literally spun around and tried to get it. But when he spun around with the water so muddy, I mean, you can't blame him for missing it. I mean, it was a half a second decision. But you just feel like if you can put your bait in enough high percentage areas, like on those points, that like where he can set up and ambush that bait, that's really the main key to actually getting the bite and landing the fish, and not, him swiping at it or coming off halfway to the boat, not getting it good.
Let me ask you this, Wes. Everybody was, I guess, complaining about it. Like, the water was up, the water was down, the water was doing some crazy business. How were you able to adjust? What were your adjustments to that crazy water condition over the 4 days of the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, and Neely Henry's a special place as far as water when it starts flooding and stuff, because there's a bend in it called Minnesota Bend, halfway in the middle of the lake. And when it floods real bad and they have to open all the floodgates, the upper end will flood. It was 2 or 3 feet high on that end. And then it was like 4 feet low on the lower end, where 2 days before it was the same level from top to bottom. But basically what I did was I like the upper end better. I'm more comfortable up there, but I actually had a decent practice down the lake. But the first morning of the tournament, I put in at a campground right below the launch, and I was idling up to the boat ramp, and I saw that the water had fell probably 8 to 10 inches from the night before. And I knew there were some places that I had checked the last day of practice that were underwater, but I could see the grass, and I knew the grass set up right. And I knew if it just got a little bit of water off of it, that I could get to where the fish wanted to be. Because I feel like when that grass gets that much water on it, the fish are going past it, like up in the bushes, up on trees and stuff. Like, they're flooding like up in there where you can't get to them. But when it starts falling like that, the grass is the first thing that they're going to set up on. So when I saw that, I kind of made a split-second decision. I ran to that stretch that looked good and got a few bites and kind of got the ball rolling really fast. But as the tournament went on, the water level was fine. Once it fell down on that day one, it kind of stabilized day one and day two. Well, then on day three, they were forecasting a bunch of rain coming in for day four. So day three, Alabama Pirates started sucking the bottom out of the top end, and the lower end was actually coming up. So it literally flip-flopped halfway through the tournament.
Oh, my gosh.
And when it flip-flopped,
insane.
They dropped it on day three, like it was dropping by the hour. Like, you could see it drop a couple inches. Like, the grass was getting dry as the day was going on. And I mean, As soon as them fish feel that water coming off that grass, they like get out like fast. Like, it bothers them. They don't bite. They act real funny. And I made a decision on day three to go out on the river and fish just like some current stuff, and was able to catch, one good one and one really big one. But that was kind of the turning point in the tournament, where a lot of people that were just running the grass, throwing a swim jig in it all day, when that water left that grass, they were kind of just, spinning their wheels. Because, I mean, the fish, they ain't there no more. I promise you he's not there. He's done pulled out because he's done seen that water fall off his back too many times. He knows better than to stay up there. But for some reason, the Alabama Power kicked the generators back up Sunday night going into day 4, and it brought the water back up on the upper end. And when I saw that on day 4, I knew what I was going to do. We had a weather system coming in. It was going to be cloudy and rainy all day. And, I mean, I know them fish bite a swim jig somewhere on that lake when it's rainy like that and cloudy. And I decided to lock it in my hand and, just let the cards play out how they did.
How do you keep track of the water? Are you just observing? Are you able to look at the lock, like the websites? How are you able to figure out what the water's doing?
There's an app for the lake, but the app reads the water level at the lower dam. And so once you leave that lower dam, the water level is literally different all over the lake because of that bend and how it twists and turns. But I've got a pipe up there by the boat launch where we take off from. Like I know the marks on it and the bridge pond. Like I've been there so many times. I'm like, if it's above that little crack right there, the grass is fine. If it's below that crack, it's no good. Like I need to go do this. So, I mean, that's kind of my indicator right there.
That's great. What about rising and falling? It's so complicated because it's like calculus to try to figure out, what the water level's doing past that S bend and above the S bend. How are you able to figure out if it's rising or falling, or does that matter to you?
No, it matters for sure, but it's kind of a day-to-day thing. It really depends on what Alabama Power decided to do as far as what they were going to generate, what they were going to do on the lower end and the upper end. Because when they turn it on, they've got 3 turbines at both dams. When they were running 2 turbines, you would think that everything would be fine, but the water was able to fall out of that bend when they slowed the water down. When they sped it back up is when it started backing up again and rising, if that makes any sense. Because it's got so much building up in that bend, it starts backing up. And when they slowed it down at the top end, it was able to kind of fall out and raise the lower end. It's complicated, but once you've seen it so many times, it's just like second nature.
Wow. People look at me sideways when I try to explain tidal water fishing to them. This is like ×2.
Yeah, I'm not with the tidal water. Like the tidal water is almost on a schedule. Like you can kind of see what it's going to do besides the wind or, a moon phase or something. But it's almost like dealing with a tide. What's funny is none of the rest of the Coosa River lakes are like this. I mean, they're going to be within, a couple inches from dam to dam. I mean, it's an interesting place because when they start, and what's weird is like deeper on into the summer, everything's fine. Obviously, you don't get the flood and rains and stuff like that. And the water's normally, around full pool unless we get a drought or something. But, dealing with it from January to the end of May, it can be kind of stressful because, I mean, it's Alabama weather. It can be 75 and sunny. And then in the afternoon, you're getting 5 inches of rain and 15 tornadoes.
Well, talk to us about your swim jig. I see you're wearing a Dirty Jigs jersey there. Tell me about your swim jig and your trailer.
Yeah, obviously I like a Dirty Jigs. I use all their jigs. I'm a big fan of the No Jack. I jerk so hard with that. I mean, I use a 7.6 medium heavy arc reinforcer rod. I use 60-pound braid, Sunline braid, a loose Pro TI reel. And I mean, when they get it, like I don't like just lean into them. Like I don't know if I get real excited when they bite it, like I'm just waiting for them to get it. But I mean, if it's a 1 pounder or a 6 pounder, I'm gonna jerk the same on every one of them. And just knowing that I'm not gonna flex that hook, because earlier in my career, before I got with Dirty Jigs or this jig came out, I had a lot of heartbreaks on swim jigs just for that reason. Flexing hooks be straightened out and stuff, but. I'm a big No Jack fan, unless I'm in clear water, and then I'll just go to the regular wire hook. But I'm kind of basic with the colors. I throw Alabama brim, a white, and a hematoma. And I'm 95% of the time I'm throwing a Zoom Super Speed Crawl as a trailer. Sometimes I'll use a Speed Crawl if they're kind of just getting the bigger flappers on the Super Speed Crawl, because the Ultra Vibe has it's a little bit smaller profile. But The only other time that I go to like a swim bait trailer is like around like submerged grass, like hydrilla or milfoil or coontail or something like that, where you're not really, you're not having to work it around, causing a reaction bite, like down in Florida or Texas, something where you're just kind of winding it through stuff and they come up there and get it. I feel like that's more of a sight bite than a reaction feeling bite in dirtier water. I try and keep like a crawl trailer, like I said, the super speed crawl in dirtier water, shallow stuff, and then the swim bait trailer in the submerged grass, cleaner water.
Right. And the no jack, for you guys that don't know, it's got a meteor hook.
Yeah, it's almost like a gaff. Like
it's a gaff.
I don't know how Kurt got that hook in that 5/16 jig, but it's pretty impressive. And I mean, it's made me a lot of money, and it literally just made me $100,000. I mean,
yeah, that's well. Yeah. Let me ask you this: several people have simplified their jig color when it comes to swim jig fishing. But when do you throw which color?
I'm gonna have to just give y'all the goods because I don't want to lie about it. The Coosa River is famous for throwing a white swim jig. Okay, so you can go if you got an Alabama Bass Show tournament, a Coosa River team trail, whatever, you can run down the river and watch white swim jigs flying everywhere. It's like they're like bombs going everywhere. I mean, a fish's brain is like the size of a peanut, but I can promise you, after he gets snatched on about 10 times with that white swim jig, he gets kind of leery of it. Like, I mean, you'll see some fish, they'll come up on it, and every now and then want to bite it. And actually, I kind of went against what I normally do. Is yesterday I started with a white swim jig. Just there was a big shad spawn going on. Like, I mean, where Gerald was catching them is where I was really wanting to be. And I got within 200 yards of him on up the bank, and I could see the bass running through the grass eating them. And I hadn't seen that all week. So I was like, I got to throw a white one. And I missed some. I lost one. They just didn't seem to be getting it good. And a little bit later in the day, I picked up the black one, which going back, I like to throw the black one when everybody else is throwing the white one. I just feel like you may not get as many bites. You may not see as many fish because they don't, run out after it thinking it's a shad or something. But it seems like when he comes after it, 9 times out of 10, he eats it. Like, he don't miss it. I think I ended up missing one after I locked the black one in my hand, and I think I caught 5 or 6, and I ended up weighing all my fish in on it. But there's just really no sense in, like, we have a bunch of amazing colors at Dirty Jigs, and when you're fishing in that clear water, that's fine because, like I said, it's more of a sight deal. But when you're in water that you can see 3 inches down into, he's not going to swim up into it and say, well, it don't have 2 strands of chartreuse in it, I'm not going to buy it. Like, if he does that, I'm not going to catch him anyway. So you've either got black, white, and like around here, if it gets a little bit clearer, like I said, I'll throw that Alabama brim with a little bit of a natural like color as far as like a green pumpkin or something. Just like Lake gets real clear, for instance, and they still buy a swim jig, but you throw a white one out there and it looks like a paper plate coming back to you. Like, it's just a little bit too overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I believe you weighed in 5 fish, and the swim jig was the deal. It was the day 4 winning decision. And what Pete was alluding to earlier, every day, this wasn't one key change wins the Derby. This was
almost hourly
changes. Yeah. And there was the hourly changes. You had to keep changing, and hats off for you to do that. But the other 15 fish you weighed on days 1, 2, and 3, there were no swim jig fish for you. That wasn't part of your program. And what I saw on, days, let's see, I can't remember when you were on camera, if it was the first day. Were you on the camera the first day?
No,
were they just checking in with you or something? Maybe they checked in with you.
I think they Skyped me about 1 o'clock on day 1.
Okay. And it looked like you had a frog in your hand, maybe?
I did. I threw a frog.
Is that what you were doing on day 1 and 2?
I caught them on a frog day 1 and a 5/8 flipping jig. And on day 2, I caught my biggest fish day 1 on a spinnerbait, actually. I mean, it was just
oh, wow.
I mean, it's a homemade spinnerbait that we make around here. It's nothing special, but
apparently it is. What's so special? I mean, you're going out of your way to make a spinnerbait. You can buy a spinnerbait. So let's talk about it.
There's actually pictures. Steve Bowman actually got the shot of the fish. Like, I'm throwing a frog down this bank, and I've been catching some on it. And for some reason the wind decided to blow for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, well, I don't like throwing a frog in the wind because they can't see it as good. I said, I'm just gonna throw a spinnerbait by this little like 3 stalks of grass. And I threw by it once and nothing, and I threw by it again, and like a 3 3/4 just like swallowed it. But anyways, it's just a double willow leaf, silver blades, but it's actually a pink skirt, like, or cotton candy, I guess you would say.
Now there's the goods.
War Eagle makes a skirt that's real similar to it, but mine's a little bit more, because I throw it in that dirtier water. It's more like a solid pink, so you can it stands out a lot more than you think it would.
It seems like when you're fishing down in that part of the country, it's like fishing pressure causes you to I mean, that's one of the most important things, right? You're switching colors because everybody else is throwing white. I got to do something else. Or, I'm throwing a pink skirt because they've seen white.
I got made fun of by like 15 people day one because I had it laying on the deck. They're like, what are you like going musky fishing or salmon fishing or something? We're gonna see.
Yeah, who makes fun of the local though? You know what I mean? Like,
that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking at that thinking, whoa.
I kind of had some fun. Like a couple guys trolled by me. They kind of just looked at me, and I just kind of like shrugged. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens.
Oh man.
So Wes, you've been through this. You fish this body of water a lot. What did you learn about competing or about this body of water? What did you learn this week in getting this monster win?
Just that I feel like I can compete against. Like I had a bad last year. I had a bad battle with myself, like thinking that I deserved to be here or not, because I felt like I wasn't as good of an angler as a lot of these guys are. And I had that battle all year last year, and I don't know, I got into a mindset before this season started to where, I need to make my own decisions. I need to have confidence in when I make a decision that basically trust my gut and not worry about what, somebody else is doing, what Swindle's doing, what Christie's doing down here, how many fish Paulnick's caught out on a road bed on a DT 16 or something. Just basically do my own thing and just fish as hard as I can the way I know how to fish and trust my instinct when I think I need to make a move. So being able, and even every tournament this year has, at some point I've been like, and even I've lost some fish, but even losing those fish, you put yourself in the opportunity to have a good tournament. So just building that confidence and then getting here and being able to run some of my stuff. And as the days of the tournament started going on and I'd make a decision and it would work, my confidence just got higher and higher. And I'd just be running down the river and be like, I'm going to go in there and throw at that one stick because I've caught one off of it, or it just feels right. And I just wheel in there. Like normally I would be so dead set on wanting to go here because that's just what I got to go do. I felt like I gained a lot of confidence as the tournament went on, and it worked. I mean, every decision I made seemed to be the right one at the right time.
Yeah, Wes. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It was on display while you were on camera those last couple days, and seeing you catch that big one on day 3, that was a huge fish. I think you caught that one on a crankbait.
I did, But I'm not a crankbait fisherman by no means. Like it just, I don't know, it felt right.
But it felt right. Just like the spinnerbait fish felt right. Something we talk about at the Bass University that Ike's been talking about for years is fishing the moment. And it seems like that's kind of your style, and you're not scared to do it like that. I think I can remember a little bit of that in the Guntersville Derby when we got to watch you fish, but man, it speaks volumes, dude. This is not like just a one-hit wonder. You're 13th in the AOY standings right now. And correct me if I'm wrong, Wes, because I could totally got bad information here. But you fished, I think, 26 Elite Series events so far? Or is that combined with your FLW pro status?
That is it's not elite tournaments because I've only been on the Elite Series for 2 years. This is to say it's because I had an interview earlier and they brought it up. I fished 26 BASS tournaments.
Okay. Still 26 tournaments, 21 checks.
Yeah.
21 out of 26 checks. Buddy, you're here for a long time. Let me tell you. You just keep doing what you're doing. So impressive.
That is crazy. Wow.
Well,
Mhm.
Wes, I
Hold
am
on,
in-
Pete. Pete, before you do your sign off, let me just say sorry, Pete. I'm messing you up. But no, the conversation about pressure, you know what I mean, and changing colors and reacting to what you're doing based almost solely off of a pressure and where you're at and what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Is any of any of this going to play into your event, Pete?
Well, yeah. I mean,
You gonna
that's
throw different color black Senko?
Yeah. Everybody's throwing that now, so I'm throwing white.
There you go.
There you go.
That's how it goes. But it always, you think you want a perfect practice, but perfect practice rarely results in a win. It always seems like it catches you sideways. So I'm trying to find information, or I'm trying to look into my practice to find the clue that's going to steer me to the winning pattern, because I'm seeking a blue trophy. It's not quite as big as that blue trophy, but I'm going to try to get one here this week on the James. So
yeah, I actually had I forgot about this. I had an opportunity to win one of the opens the year I qualified at the Mississippi River in Wisconsin, and I mean I didn't catch them on that day either. But I was about to say, I think winning an open is going to be harder than winning one of these, because I mean there's just you got so many more anglers, and you got to deal with the locals and stuff like that. Like them opens are like tough derbies. I'll go ahead and tell you. Like, it's
no kidding.
That's a fact, and thanks for the motivation, Wes.
Pete, you've won. What have you won? 2 of them?
Yeah, I won a couple of them, but we got it's a heavy field. You got the local pressure. You got the guys, the big time elite guys are all here too. They're coming in for this derby, and in fishing, and that's why I asked you about fishing pressure, because it's going to play in this event this week. Fishing pressure is going to push fish around. It's going to split fish out. Guys that think they had a spectacular practice are going to share them with 20 other guys, and I'm trying to strategize around that. And,
right.
But I love this stuff, man. It's in your blood. You just can't fight it, man. You want to get out there and get a win. I wish I had a win as big as that at 26, man. I want to congratulate you. I mean, you've been leading the fourth. You've been in these big tournaments at such a young age, so close to bringing it home, and you've done it now at 26. So I'm excited for you, and I want to wish you best of luck. And I'm going to pass you on to the capable hands of JK and BTC, and I'm going to go rig some rods, and I'm going to plan my practice day for tomorrow. But congratulations again, buddy. Appreciate you being here on Bass U Live, and I'll definitely be watching you at the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Pete. I'll be keeping up with you too. I need you to go catch them this week.
Thank you.
Sure.
Send those big fish vibes, Wes.
I will.
Send them. All right. Good night, guys. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
See you, Pete. That's awesome stuff. But yeah, man, we're going to get to some.
Did you hear that,
Mr. Pete? Hey, I'm going to say this, man. The first time somebody gave me Wes Logan's number, with being the guy at Bass U trying to schedule everybody. I want to hire everybody. Obviously I can't, but I think you were 23 or 24 when somebody first threw your name at me and saying, hey, this guy is going to do it. And I can't remember. I want to say it might've been Paul Benson, somebody over there familiar with what was going on out on the Coosa River chain. But anyways, it's been fun watching you get here. But man, we're going to take a moment here and get some questions answered off the board. Again, guys, thanks for being patient with me. We don't have Riz, and so I'm trying to do the best I can here. But we're going to give away another Gills card. Is that cool, Brian? Give another Gills Gear
I'm eating a
$25 gift card.
Making the noise.
Oh, you're good.
Came straight from work. No dinner. And, Back to you, Justin.
So this one, Slater, this one's coming from our pal Slater on the message board. Slater, send me your subscriber number. We're going to hook you up with a $25 Gills gift card. Wes, when you lose a fish on that swim jig, what follow-up baits do you prefer, if any?
It kind of depends on the situation. I mean, if I physically like hook the fish and lose it, I mean, more than likely the fish isn't going to bite again. I mean, obviously he's had some steel run through his face. He kind of knows it wasn't the real deal, unless you're somewhere that he don't get caught a lot or he's on the bed or something. But it's hard to be like, backing it up with a wacky worm or stuff. The only problem I have with it, like in our situation, like around here, is the way the fish eat these swim jigs. Like they're setting up ready to eat. And when he runs out there and misses it, 9 times out of 10, he ran out into the current, and hardly ever is he just going to whip back around and just get right back into something else. I said this on live. I think it was, I don't remember what, it may have been day 2 or day 3, but I was actually flipping a jig on a rocky bank in the current. And I was talking about, and I was fishing behind some people. And what's interesting about current is, like, if that fish is behind a rock and let's say there's a 3-pound spot behind a rock, and he runs out there and eats a shad. Well, you've got 30,000 cubic feet per second of water running by. He's probably going to get washed down 10 or 15 yards. Well, he's just going to get back to the next current break he can get on. So that's basically the same thing with what we were dealing with, is that when he come out there and missed it, like he was so fired up and wide open to get it, he didn't just blow up on it and just sit there. Like he ran out there and he may set back up. Like the one I missed, like it took 5 or 6 casts to get it to bite again, because that was the only patch of grass right there. Like that's the one he wanted to get on. But I mean, like I said, a wacky rig is a good bait to follow up on if you're not in a current situation to where like he just blew up on it, in a backwater or something, and the fish isn't going to go anywhere. Like that's where he's at. And a lot of times if I throw something in there and he doesn't bite again, I'll circle around and come back in 10 minutes and throw, swim a jig right by it again. And sometimes you catch him and sometimes he just doesn't come back. It just all depends on the mood of the fish.
That's a great answer, guys, for in and out of the current. Let's see. Let's go to another one of our guys. I just saw it. Okay. So Mac Attack saw you doing something on Sunday, and I want to ask this question for him. Mac Attack, you're going to get another prize pack sponsored by Humminbird. We're going to hook you up with some goodies, maybe a Humminbird hat even. But he's got a question for Wes on Sunday. So I guess this is day 3.
Yeah.
He said you were tying on a new frog. He said, were you sharpening the hooks or doing something different to them? He noticed you doing something with your hooks. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah. So basically what happened was I was throwing a popping style frog, and once you use those frogs so long, you'll catch a fish on them, and the I don't even know what it's called, the little silver piece that you tie your line to will rip out of the mouth. So I was having to replace frogs, and that was the newest frog I had, and the other ones that were in my box, I hate to say this, but the hooks were a little bit rusted for some reason. I mean, I put baby powder on all my frogs to keep the water out, but it still had gotten the point had gotten a little bit rusted. And normally it was still sharp and it didn't really bother me, but for some reason I had lost some fish and they weren't eating it that good. Like they would blow up on it hard, but I was hooking a lot of them in the bottom of the lip, or I think it was just so shallow. And I talked to Christy about this. He thinks that they were hitting it like sideways and not really like able to come up on top of it. But anyways, on back to what he asked is I tried to sharpen the hooks on that deal, but it still wasn't a confidence thing. So I was taking the hook out of the frog that had tore up, and you can pull the hook out and take the ring off the frog hook and replace it. And I bent those hooks up a little bit. They were sharp. I knew they were good. I had confidence in them. So I basically just swapped the hooks out after I realized I couldn't sharpen it the way I wanted to.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Did you catch? You mentioned you caught your biggest fish on day 1 on a spinnerbait. Day 3 was a crankbait. We all saw that beast. And day 4, obviously everything was on the black and blue swim jig. What was your biggest fish on day 2? Was it something different than those 3?
Let's say day 2, I had 12.8. Day 2 is the day like 5 minutes into fishing, I jumped off like a 5-pounder on a frog. But I weighed in every bass I weighed in on the second day come on a frog. I caught I lost the big one. I caught a little bit like a 1.75 pounds. I say it's a little, it was a decent one. And I actually went in one little pocket and I had 4 bites, lost one. That was, I don't know if y'all saw the clip, in that same pocket's where the fish fell off on the deck, almost went out, and I jumped on the deck of the boat and threw it down in the bottom. Went through that pocket, caught 3, and then I ran down the lake to one stretch that I hadn't hit that I thought was good. I caught a 3-pounder there, and then I think I caught a 3-pounder real late. I caught every one of them on a frog that second day.
That's awesome. So you caught your biggest fish of each day on
different
a different bait. That's pretty awesome. My kind of guy, man, making some moves.
Yeah, for sure.
Brian, you got anything over there on from our friends on YouTube before I go back in some more questions?
I do. The YouTube. Oh, excuse me. YouTube guys are always bringing it.
Let's give some love to the YouTube guys.
Yeah, I'm going back a little bit, but Travis Wise wants to know, Wes, you get free Whataburgers for life, and wants to know if you need a roommate. Dude, honestly, I thought about Whataburgers today. How good are they?
Man, I'm going to be honest. I don't recall me ever eating at a Whataburger.
Well, there you go.
But I think we've got 2 new ones here close to the house, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. But I assure you, I will be taking advantage of the free burgers. So there's no doubt.
Oh,
so they really did give you free burgers for life.
It's not. It's for a year. It's for
a year though.
Yeah, it's anything free there for a year.
Oh wow, so
that's awesome.
I wonder what kind of level burger we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many I can get. Like, just buy the whole place out one day, or
I mean, we talking.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of friends. Like, hey, you want to go get some lunch or something?
I'm curious.
It's awesome.
What else we got?
They don't serve a beer there.
We got Johnny 450 or Tony 450 says you and Kyle Welcher could pass for brothers. But there's
he's about 4 foot taller than me.
He's a foot taller?
About maybe 4 foot.
Oh wow.
He could stand on his knees and be taller than me probably.
Pete Radke said Pete's going to a Jimmy Buffett show. All right, so here we go. Drew Gregory, and this caught my attention because I'm curious as to why. Wes, how are locals adapting and/or helping people understand that those bass are now called Alabama bass and are not spotted bass? It's crucial that anglers understand this for so many reasons. And my question is why? Why is it crucial? I'm confused about that.
I'm confused a little bit on is he talking about our spotted bass? I mean, I guess what he said, we'll say it one more time.
All right. So again, Drew Gregory, kayak guy.
What's up, Drew?
Yeah. Says, how are locals adapting and or helping people understand that those bass are now called Alabama bass and are not spotted bass? It's crucial that anglers understand this for so many reasons.
I'm not sure why. I think I kind of get where he's going. Like you've got different breeds of spotted bass. You've got a Kentucky spot, which is more like a Smith Lake deal. Which Smith Lake's kind of back and forth. There's some you call them Alabama spot. We call them Coosa River spots because I mean that's where they originated from. I mean they're a different breed. Kentucky spots normally get a big one's a 2.5 to 2 3/4 pounder. You see a lot of them in like Highland reservoirs, like a Table Rock, Bull Shoal, stuff like that. They're real short and fat looking to where these Coosa River spots, the biggest one I've caught in my life is a 7-pounder, and it's not uncommon to see, 4 and 5 pounders, on this whole strain of river. And this is the only place that these fish originate from. I don't know if he's asking or he's saying why is it crucial as to they set up different than a Kentucky spotted bass would, to where because the spots that we fish for, you can catch a spot in the back of a creek just as quick as you can catch him out on the main river. Like they they get in where the largemouth are, to where you've got like herring chasing spots in Hartwell and Norman and Table Rock's not herring, but it's that Kentucky spot where they're gonna be on bait a lot more than our fish are, where our fish set up on cover in dirtier water. So I mean, I'm guessing the crucial part would be learning how to actually target those fish and how they're going to set up, I guess. And
yeah,
actually,
that's what my question was. Like, what exactly was the crucial aspect of it? Was it from a conservation standpoint or from a fish catching standpoint? And he responded, it's crucial because the Coosa strain, now called Alabama bass, hybridized with smallmouth and shoals. So again, I guess just kind of tracking their habits and characteristics.
Yeah, and Drew with kayaks, he's fishing a lot of. I mean, he's all over the country. He's catching a lot of different species, from shoals. And then there's all these hybridizes and all that stuff. So, they're calling them Alabama bass. They're not calling them Alabama spotted bass. So they're saying this is not a spotted bass. They're trying to, I don't know. I don't want to go too far off the beaten path with it, but it's a cool conversation for those who are totally
I think actually his point is more of transporting fish and these fish contaminating the gene pools, and that's what he's going on to say here on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Now I understand the critical aspect of it for sure.
And actually, I'll throw one little note in here. Those gigantic spots that are getting caught in California are Coosa or Alabama spots that are out there eating trout and stuff, like Bullard's Bar and stuff. Those are the spots that came from here. Those aren't, those aren't like Kentucky's and stuff like that.
So why are people moving? What's that all about?
Oh, because it's like somebody obsessed with a smallmouth trying to move it down south or wherever it can survive because they love smallmouth. There are so many guys back in the day
playing God
that took these they took these Coosa spots. Back then they were Coosa spots. They took them to Tennessee and Georgia and all these different lakes, and they'll show up, and heck, we've got some things that seem like they're Alabama bass here in Georgia, in some of the rivers and stuff, and I don't know if they are or not. Drew would probably know better than I would.
Yeah, no, good information, Drew. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's a cool conversation. Sure. It'd be cool to really dive into that topic on a later show. But we got another question that I wanted to ask from Jay Water. Jay Water, you're going to get a prize pack, another Humminbird prize pack. He wanted to know how you were fishing this swim jig, and this was on my notes too. He was talking about the Alabama shake. Is that are you getting your Alabama shake on, or reeling it, presenting it differently? What were you doing this week? And if so, is that all you ever do with it?
But that's basically, I mean, if I swim a jig, I swim it the same all the time. I give it you call it an Alabama shake. I kind of let the fish kind of tell me what mood they're in, because you can do the Alabama shake if you want to call it that, but there's different. I mean, you can present the bait a lot of different ways. You can burn it on the top and like really get it going, or you can, kind of just make short little roll casts or pitches and get it to a hole and let it drop and then pop it back up and let it drop again. It doesn't always have to be a constant just shaking it wide open. You kind of, I play it on camera. It probably looks like that I'm doing the same thing every time I throw it out there, but the jig's actually doing a lot of different stuff to where if you really want to pay attention to what I was doing, is you can watch how fast I'm turning the reel, because I'm making the jig move the same all the time. It just, the speed of my reel is what's keeping the jig real high or letting it fall back down. So the jig's doing the same thing all the time, just whether it's high in the water column or low.
Okay. So I think that's a good question from Jay Water. Good answer from Wes there. Wes, moving on, man. The Coosa River, it's like you said, they turned the current on Monday for you guys. That it brought the water back up. You brought more current situation. You changed with it. We talked about the changes you made. We saw it all laid out. Were you going against the current? Were you trolling against the current, or letting it wash your boat down, or both in certain situations? Did it matter?
I think it kind of mattered on day one of the tournament, because they still had 3 turbines going and the floodgates. So you could fish going against it, but you literally had to be standing on your trolling motor wide open, and you would barely be creeping up. And I just felt like I was fishing too slow doing that because that current's washing so hard, your boat's only moving 5 feet at a time, and you've made 5 casts or 5 flips,
Right.
and your bait's washed the same place every time. So on day one, I floated back. I fished backwards a lot. I mean, that's something I learned to do. I know how to get my boat situated, you know, to just pitch around and stuff. But I know like I said, the current, it gets to a point where you need to fish backwards. And then as the tournament grew on, the current dropped down a little bit, and I could go forward and move at the right pace. It's all about moving. Your boat needs to move to where your bait can look natural as many times as it can in different places. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah, I know that fishing backwards over there, that a lot of you guys are totally in tune with that when you get that current ripping. So talk to me about that. How does like an Ultrex help you? Do you use that more than say your Raptors or Talons, whatever you're running right now? Like, what are you using more, or are you using both in sync in different situations? It's such a unique situation.
Yeah, I would say I use both equally throughout the tournament, and it really made a big deal. I mean, I probably caught extra fish. I couldn't name an exact fish, but like I would eat, like in those backwaters, I would ease up to, let's say we had a little grass patch that was, 20 yards long. I would like ease up to it and just kind of ease my Raptors down where I could make precise casts, even if the wind was blowing and stuff like that. Or I'd be going down a stretch and catch one and put the poles down immediately. And, you're not messing anything up. You're not getting blown into another mat. You're not making a bunch of, washing stuff. Cause I'm only in like 1.5 feet of water. It's not like I'm in 10 foot and all my sound's getting muffled. I mean, you got to be as stealthy and as quiet as you can. You can do that with them Raptors because they have different speeds. And I could put mine on slow where they kind of just ease down into the water. And then you get to the current situation to where you've got the, 2 turbines running, and I would literally catch one out there, and all I'd have to do is hit spot lock. I could fight it. I could get back there. I could coil, weigh it, do whatever I had to do, talk to the camera, and then stand back up. And I'm literally in the exact spot where I was when I caught the fish. And actually on day 3, there was a little high spot, a little rock gravel bar type thing. And I threw out there with the crankbait. I caught a 2.5, boat flipped it, I spot locked, boat flipped it, got it unhooked, threw it in there, and was able to stand back up. And 2 casts later, you catch that 5-4. So, I mean,
wow.
If you don't have spot lock, and let's say you get washed down, and yeah, you can troll back up there, but who knows if the angle is going to be the same. And everybody knows with current, angles are the biggest deal. So being able to sit there in the same exact spot and make that same cast, I mean, it made a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you're catching a fish, getting it unhooked, possibly coaling. I guess you weren't coaling because you only caught 5 that day, but still having to keep the boat in the same place and position that you found that cast that worked for you, found that seam or whatever, and it worked out for you. Brian, we got anything else over on YouTube?
I've got a question.
Yeah, come on.
The nickname we hinted around about this in the pre-show, Wes, but little ball of hate. I gotta be honest.
Missed out.
I love it. It speaks to me. Where's it come from?
On what level does it speak to you? I gotta know.
On what level? I grew up with Ike.
Very good. That's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah. We're similar. We have similarities. We handle things in a similar fashion sometimes.
It's the nickname. It didn't come like, I think a lot of people take it as like I'm mad all the time or I'm like not a friendly person. I mean, I feel like I'm a nice person to everybody, or I try to be. I mean, I try to be a good Christian guy. I mean, I want to do the right thing, but it's I think Dave got it from an intensity standpoint on the water and during a tournament. And it's not a hate for everything. It's a hate that I hate to lose. Like I hate not doing good. I hate disappointing people. I hate letting people down. I hate letting myself down. And it just kind of fuels me to be better and get better every day and not get outworked and put in the time and all that stuff. And I mean, that's kind of where it came from.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, that sounds a lot like Ike. He hates to lose, man. Like we could never play like drinking card games and have fun. You know what I mean? Back in the
Oh,
day.
anytime.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm not. I don't want to lose. Like
yeah, he just didn't want to lose. It's like, oh, dude, it's just a game. Drink. All right, never mind. But no, that's cool, man. I like it. I
think Dave posted. I think Dave posted a picture yesterday, or he sent it to me. It's me lipping a fish, and it says like little ball of great instead of like he marked out hate and put great or something.
I saw that today, dude. It's pretty dope.
That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, you fished with our guy Rich, I guess 2019,
I remember it. I think it was
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going into 2020, I think. Like
yeah.
Oh yeah, it was 2020. It was February 2020. The COVID hadn't set in yet.
Yeah, I think I was about to start the Elite Series or something, or may have just fished St. John's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gave him a little Alabama swim jig lesson that day.
Yes, you did, man.
he got that.
Yes,
he got that lesson.
He had a lot of good things to say about you, dude.
He texted me right when he got off, saying he didn't have no service out there where he was out in the boondocks or something.
Yeah, nah, he's on them right now, so he didn't want to get boxed into a corner and have to give up his juice. That's what it's about.
That's right. Nothing wrong with
that. That's probably a good analysis there.
I'm pretty sure.
BTC.
If I know Rich.
Oh man, so I got a top 5 tonight, Brian. It's going to be shorter than normal.
So it's a top 3.
So I'm just going to rip it through when we got Wes here. But obviously, Wes's final day move came on the swim jig, and so my professional fish head top 5. I'm bringing you guys the what I think are the top 5 swim jigs that I have uncovered. Some are obvious, some may not be, that all the pros and the guys who are out there are relying on. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to go on Tackle Warehouse and find all of these. But no doubt these 5 are what I consider some of the best swim jiggers in the game are relying on. So we'll just go with the number 1 first on the list. We're going to just go ahead and state the obvious. The Dirty Jigs No Jack swim jig. It's been doing it for years, and Wes just did it again.
Yeah.
But that one you will find on Tackle Warehouse, and no surprise that it's probably their best selling swim jig, as is probably for a lot of other retailers. They've done great head design, different hook options. Obviously, it's not just the No Jack. They've got a lot of different swim jigs for you. But let's get to these other 4. Number 2 is True South Custom Lures makes an awesome swim jig. And there are a lot of guys out there relying on it. Was introduced to that, I think, by David Williams, who is the man when it comes to skirted lures, jigs, and spinner baits, and chatter baits. He is so consistent. He's doing it right now. Did he win the tour? What did he win? He won the Toyota Series Angler of the Year. Is that what he did?
He won the Toyota Angler of the Year, and he won my rookie year at Smith on a swim jig on a shad spawn on dogs. Smashed them like I got on that bite and couldn't land them, and he just winding them in every day.
Dude. And we were at Lanier Regional last year. He still fishes in the BFLs. The guy's just a fishaholic. He's all over the place. He's awesome, great guy. But man, he got onto him at Lanier. I'm like, David, did you catch him on the jig? He said, "You bet your butt I did."
Yeah.
But man, that True South swim jig, I've used all 5 of these on the list. I think there's a place for a lot of different types of swim jigs. Don't take my word for it. That's John Cox. He'll use a lot of different guys' swim jigs, and carry them for different situations, because there is no such thing as the perfect one, is what he says. But anyway, so yeah, check them out. True South Custom Lures, they got a good one. The next one is more local to BTC's neck of the woods. I just got my first batch this year, and I am super impressed. But Stevie Hanna, I don't even know if he's got a name on his business or whatever,
5, bro.
Dude.
What?
There are. It's not just me. I'm getting them because I know this guy and that guy and this guy and this guy.
I know.
Stevie's got some sticks throwing his swim jigs.
Yes, he does.
And that's local and around the country. The guy's got an amazing swim jig. Just tied me up some. I even got to like custom make a color. You know, he got me a little purple tinsel in there for my little bluegill pattern.
White
and
and purple?
Pretty happy about it. No, I'll send you a picture. Send you a picture later tonight. But dude, Stevie is a good dude. Quick turnaround time.
Yep.
And you know, I like I said, I like
hook.
I've got all 3 I just named. I've got them, and it's not because I discovered them, right? I've got the best job in the country. I'm working with all these guys, so you better believe when this guy says he uses this, I'm going to take notice. Another one is up north. I think this is more of a Wisconsin, Mississippi River type deal. I could be wrong, but this is more of the Brian Schmidt type of swim jig. You know, lighter wire hook, you know, guys who are catching fish that way with swim jigs. You know, you might want, I really haven't been able to put this one to use. I just know there's a lot of guys who are like, Bravarni jigs. Shh. Right. You know, so Bravarni jigs is definitely on the list. It's a popular swim jig. That's Brovarney. I've got a few of them and haven't really put them to use. Like I said, you know, I got to find that situation to use more of a lighter hook. I'm down here in Wes's neck of the woods. We like to use gaff hooks and 60 pound braid. Yeah. And I can't do it with the jigs I got there, but no questions are a lot of our instructors here at Bass UTV out on the pro tour putting those to use. And the last one was a unique one that John Cox has talked about when he wants a lighter jig, smaller profile for cleaner water situations, maybe clean water and really shallow grass, shallow cover. And that's the EcoPro Tungsten Sick Boy swim jig. And he and quite a few others have talked about that jig in my time talking swim jigs. I love a swim jig, just like Wes. And I was like, man, I guess today's the day where we just unload the goods on you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those are my professional fish heads top 5 swim jigs.
That's awesome.
On what the pros are really throwing.
Yep. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Stevie Hanna, hit me up. I'll direct you his way. For a small
good
fee.
Dude.
So did you guys catch a Swindle throwing a swim jig on a composite rod?
I didn't see the composite. I know he likes a more parabolic rod.
He talked about.
I know he said that.
Rod, yeah.
Wow.
What do you think of that, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to throw mine on a composite, but I do throw it on a medium heavy. That's, I mean, got a lot of tip in it. Cause I mean, I used to be like straight up, hey, I'm going to throw it on a broomstick and just jerk the piss out of them. But you know, you sling 3.5 pounders 20 feet out of the air or out of the water in the air, and they come off with a gash ripped in their face. You learn you need a little bit of a bend in that rod.
Yep. Yeah, because you're straight braid, right?
Yep, always.
Yeah, you can afford that.
Well, I'm telling you, man, Cashin's got a good rod BTC that I switched to. It's the all-purpose rod, but it's more of a parabolic. It's 7.4, medium heavy. This what Riz likes for his chatterbait, and I started using that for my swim jig because I'm using braid. You're going to hit them hard, and it makes sense for Swindle saying that he does that because Swindle swings hard like Paul Bunyan every single time.
Yeah,
right.
You know, he's bringing it. So
he's got that.
I think it just lets him old man strength.
He's got old man strength. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, I know the rod,
Yep.
JK. That's the rod that really stood out for me when I was learning that lineup. That's the rod I like the most. It's stands out the most from the rest of what's out there. Wes, dude, I think that's about a wrap. It's 8:46.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging
Get on,
with us,
man.
Sounds good, guys. Man, it was fun. I appreciate it. I don't think it's sunk in yet, to be honest.
How many podcasts you do today?
This is the 5th one.
Man, we never can get the first one, even on a Monday.
Oh,
we can't even get the first one.
Yeah, no, we had Bill Lowen in his boat wearing his jersey.
Oh yeah, that's right.
2 hours after he won.
That's
awesome. That was great pull, BTC. You got it, man. Great pull.
So how many you got?
But yeah, Wes.
I think I've only got 2 phone interviews tomorrow, luckily, but I've got to go to Mark's Outdoors one day. We've got a Bucks Island deal going down. I'm probably going to swing by the Coosa Landing, do some stuff there. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty jam-packed, and then have to leave Sunday and go to Gunnersville and get ready for the next Derby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's always another.
Well, if I can say anything, if the folks in Gadsden and all the other little towns up and down that Coosa River Lake and Neely Henry, you people get behind this guy. This is your guy. He's 26. He's been fishing that lake in that area since he was 5 years old, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. So if anybody out there, I'm telling you, dealerships, everything left and right, man, you guys put some money behind this guy and get on board with him, man. I'm telling you what, Wes, we are super impressed, man. And go enjoy it, man. Hope you get to go turn on the Bass U live on YouTube or something and go watch the back and forth nature of that event. It was so fun to watch, and you might pick up a thing or two what guys were doing in that water willow, particularly Jason Christie. That was impressive. So learned something new, but man, impressive win. You made all the right decisions.
Maybe the most impressive thing was beating Paul Mueller, who catches a 6.5 on the final day.
Gosh,
like when somebody catches that fish, I'm like, dude, I don't know how anybody beats that.
Like on that lake, like that's literally like a unicorn. Like I that's the biggest bass I've ever caught on that lake. It's a 6.5, like in my life.
Wow.
I mean, that was it. That's the difference maker that everybody was looking for.
That.
I don't know how you pulled it off, dude, but you stayed with it. You kept grinding. You kept at it. You kept culling up. You know what I mean? That's what was so impressive about it. You know what I mean? It was a great event to watch, and the right person won it, man. It was fantastic.
Well, I mean, me and Mr. Paul are great friends. I mean, he's a good Christian guy. I mean, we talked about it when we were sitting in line. I mean, whoever was meant to win was going to win. We didn't know. We knew it was all up to the good Lord. And I mean, I was able to come out on top this time. And I mean, he may do it next time. But either way, I mean, like you said, it was a good tournament, and it made for good TV. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout. But I don't know. I was just kind of proud of myself for just grinding and kind of, chipping away at it, man.
Yep.
You should be surviving a 6.5 pounder and the bag that Swindle put together. Those were all like twins. He got to the point where his bag was so stacked. All he needed was like a 4.5 or
like
4.75.
One more decent bite.
Like a legit kicker that swims out there, you know, and
not like
he got that close.
He just needed like a 5, like which there'd been a couple of them weighed in, obviously.
Sure. But man, good job. Awesome Derby. And you obviously got it. 21 out of 26 BASS events.
Let's make it 22 out of 27 next week.
That's awesome.
Good stuff, man. Thank you, Wes.
That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Good luck. Congrats.
For you.
Wes Logan, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah, BTC. That's some good stuff. Some swim jig stuff. Wes is an all braid kind of guy, he's throwing that frog and swim jig in his comfort zone, pulling out the spinnerbait and crankbait when he has to. What a set of decisions throughout that tournament. And we got to hear about decisions that weren't on TV and that it never really got to us. I mean, the guy's pulling out a pink spinnerbait when the wind starts blowing and catches his biggest on day one. I mean,
yeah, I want to see that spinnerbait.
I think I know which one he's actually talking about, but it's yeah. Well, I get around, but what else we got, BTC? I'm missing Riz, Pete, everybody. I don't even know what we do here.
Yeah, I forgot
in this part of the show.
Pete's chops that Oliver and I's girl Riley caught an 8.5 the other day. Did you see that?
Dude, they freaking live in that river, man. I mean, and the chick, there's Florida strains. Dude, I caught one so big. My first fish in the chick was a giant like that. I thought it was a mudfish, or a snakehead, whatever those things are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw she caught that. I wonder if it was on a giant bait. Probably was. I bet you know. Thanks for confirming that it was.
Well, I ain't saying it was, but I'm saying I know. We could talk after.
Yeah, something tells me that there are no shaky head ringworms, 4-inch worms in that boat like there are everywhere else.
You know what? You'd be surprised, man. He throws a lot of little stuff. He throws
the
big stuff. Yes. A lot of little finesse stuff, little screwhead, hasdongs and hazadong, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he's told me that with the smallmouth stuff in the little bit that I talked to him when we had him on the shows. But man, the thing I gotta give Oliver credit is he knows himself, going out there, and the guy's not afraid when he caught a whiff of it. I think, a couple times he chased it out there and with the big bait bite, that is, and tried to make it work in that field. And who knows, maybe he will. I know Carl Jacobson almost won to open on a big Lida.
Yeah.
So it's going to be done soon.
Yeah, I'm having fun with one right now.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
Me too, by the way. Shout out to 25 weeks behind Tater Hawk.
It's a good looking bait.
And yes, the bait has caught some big ones already. But
what is that? 7-inch bait or?
That's an 8.
It's an
8.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. I gotta say, man, it's held up, man.
What's the fall rate on it? Sink rate?
Got a couple teeth marks on it. It's like let's see, let's compare it. I'd say if 1, 2, 3, 2 feet. So if I count to 3, it's about 2 feet.
But if you're
and how I count.
If you're slow, is it staying up high?
Yeah, it has a tendency on a long cast to go ahead and get down for you, though.
Okay.
Like down to 2 to 3 feet, but you can keep it at that 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get it as deep as you want. I don't want that deeper than my lure retriever can get to.
That's a fact.
Obviously, we don't carry extra tater hog fathers in the boat.
Nah, he owes me that.
One bass brand says, "I like this unsupervised bass shoot." I do too, man.
Yeah.
I'm hooking you up, man. Send me your subscriber number. I'm sending out a gift pack. I love it.
Pete's
One
not here.
bass
Justin's
brand.
Oprah Winfrey. Let's
Pete's
go.
not here. I'm just opening up the cage,
Oh, you know what? Let me just throw a plug in here. Ike Live's got a sponsorship, a whole promotion going on with Half a Spot. And in June, first week of June, the first weekend of June, guys can sign up and fish a tournament against me and Rich. So right now there's an event going on against Ben Milliken. These guys sign up, go to Half a Spot, download the app, sign up. You can fish up against Ben. There's big cash prizes. In the first week of June, they can fish against me and Rich, which is going to be fun.
Wait a minute. Is this like a weekend thing, or is this like
it's
a
a
monthly
3-day event?
thing?
Yep.
3
Friday,
days?
Saturday, and Sunday. Yep. Yeah, and there's
I
a
wish I could
championship
get
event
the Friday. Hey, Justin, go fish on a Friday. We're paying you to go fish on a Friday.
Ain't
Come
nobody
on.
paying me.
Come on.
Shoot. But there's a champion. If you make the championship event, it's going to be most likely on Gunnersville.
Ooh.
Where you're going to fish against
on Gunnersville.
Myself.
Whatever happened to
Ike?
Come on, Charles.
And Ben.
Whatever happened to Wilson?
Yeah, and Ish Monroe. Who else? Zach.
I told him y'all needed to go to Wilson for a deal like that. Why go to a place with 878 boats that are just trolling everywhere?
I have no idea.
Go somewhere fun. You're going to be within an hour and a half of like.
Yeah. I'll be lost.
Well, I guess anything's better than Jersey at that point of the year. Late summertime.
Jersey at any point of the year. Most
the dean left the keys to the car with a full gas tank.
Valuable tank of gas.
If Brian wasn't just so worn out from these 17-hour days at work, he probably would want to hang out for a lot longer. But I got to bring something up real quick though, since we're just palling around here. The Jason Christie thing, what he was doing with the water willow and flipping a tube and basically using it as his right.
I saw that, right?
I think he had 2 rigged up, and I'm not sure. But there's something that Wesley Strader does. Wesley's going to kill me. He's not going to watch, but he'd be killing me if I said this.
Say it.
But he does something with where he puts his peg. He doesn't peg it straight up on it.
Okay.
It's a certain distance from the bullet weight, somewhere between like that. I can't exactly remember. I'd have to. It makes the tube fall a certain way, right? It's just like it. It's like it just does this. I don't know how to describe it, but it gets bit. But it looked like Jason had something like that and unpegged. And I don't know what the difference was, or if you're just getting a different type of fall. But the thing that stood out to me really is, one, he's throwing a freaking tube.
Yeah.
He's flipping a tube again. We hadn't seen that from like a feeding fish type tournament. This wasn't a spawn event. You know, I'm sure there was some fish around the spawn in that grass. You know, obviously Alton Jones just won an MLF event on a tube, but that was just sight fishing, whatever. But this event, it reminded me of BTC, because you love doing the alternative flipping stuff when they're on bait, and you switch to that smoke purple color or that smoke colored stuff a lot. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
But that's what Jason was throwing. It looked like a smoke colored tube.
Really? Yeah, but he had dirty water.
It won that, dude. Yeah. But here's the thing about that water willow: it immediately filters, so they can see a lot better, in it. And like Wes said, they're not necessarily just roaming out there in front; they're kind of tight to it. So, I don't know if it's the Brian Threats theory on him wanting fish to barely see it, see the bait. But I have no clue. All I know is he got 20 to 30 bites a day.
Yeah, he did.
And he made a comment when he was on camera, because of course he wasn't on camera until the last day. But he made a comment, "Hey, I'm only getting bit just flipping it there and letting it settle." Well, you saw some bites where fish boiled at it and stuff. So it's my inkling is he was alternatively not just flipping it, but also fishing it like a swim jig, and swimming that thing. Like, a tube's pretty versatile bait. But
yeah, it is. Yep.
To me, that's something not a lot of guys are doing, even the locals, they're not going to be doing that. Wes Logan, he probably fished 20 years and never caught a fish on a tube on Neely.
By the time he was born, they invented creature baits, and tubes were put to pasture.
So immediately when Jason Christie, it looked like he was so dang. I don't think he was just mad. I think sometimes Jason's just Jason. There's not a lot of. He was like in the mode. It's like, I don't want to talk about my baits now. I want to get up and catch a dang bass. I'm competing, but he's just rattling off nonchalantly his line and his reel and his rod and walking through the setup or whatever. You can tell the camera guy had probably asked him to do it. And then he goes, "Yeah, and then I've just got this yum tube, but I'm running out of them." So to me, that's like, oh my gosh, he's probably weighed in every single fish. He might have caught 70, 80 fish this event on just that tube. He's running out of his tube. Then I go search the World Wide Web for the color tube that he's throwing, and it is nowhere to be found.
How'd you know what color?
Cause I could see it. I could absolutely see the color. Like, I know what color that is.
Okay.
I've got some good vision. 2020, man.
Creep.
And well, yeah, this is what I do on the weekends when I'm not fishing a derb. But Brian, I could not find it. So to me, Yum is specially pouring him something, which is cool. You know, that's the perks of being the man, Jason Christie. Or it's something else. Dude, I walked through so many tubes that are flipping tubes, you know, like a 4-inch. I can't match that color anywhere. Like, anywhere. So if anybody out there knows the exact tube, I want to know. Like, hit up your boy.
You got a pick?
Because
you got a screen grab? Something you studied? What'd you study? I know you do. I know you. Yeah.
I was just watching. I don't have a screen grab, but I hadn't seen the bait article. Has that come out yet? The top 10 baits? I don't see it on Bassmaster yet. They usually do a top 10 baits, and this is what I'm on. And I'm sending a Friday newsletter now where I'm talking about the hottest baits in the industry every week. It changes. My list of top 5 baits in the industry changes every single week. But this is what I'm doing, man. This is Jay Henfish. Good call, man. Outside of calling me a creeper and a stalker, he said Ken Duke will find out. You're right, man. I'm calling Ken tomorrow. Why do I call Ken? Ken, go ahead and talk to him. Justin's going to call you about a specific tube bait. Because, I mean, dude, it's not often that I can't go find it. If something like that pops up, I'm going to dig and dig and dig and find it and ask and ask and ask. I mean, I've got a plethora of guys to ask, but man, let's just say this. I was intrigued. Shad were spawning. That was going on. Fish were in kind of a funky mood. Yet Jason Christie is getting 6 times the bites everybody did on the last couple days.
Yeah, he was. I just sent Ken a message. I probably should have taken some time and added some words to it. It just said Jason Christie's tube. Let's see if he responds.
He might jump all over that. Hey, Andrew Williams wants to know, is there a Ken Duke trivia question tonight?
Nope. Well, it's how many Bass U subscribers are at the James River event. Go ahead and send in your guess, and then we're going to post Pete's phone number. Call Pete for the answer, and also the prize.
Yeah. Well, I've got it.
Oh.
I've got a question. They'll probably jump on it, but it's something, it's one of them listen back questions.
Go ahead.
We've got a grand prize to give away. Jocelyn worked hard putting it together, so I'm not going to let it go to waste.
We do.
So let's roll it.
Run it.
We ready?
Yep.
All right, guys. How many? I need 2 numbers. How many checks and how many total events of BASS events did Wes Logan cash? So how many total events did he fish in bass so far, and how many checks has he cashed out of those events? What's his batting average there? That's your grand prize trivia question for the night. It's not Ken Duke worthy, but if you were listening, we will reward you. And we have the winner. So I'm looking for 2 numbers. So how many events and how many checks cashed? The winner is Mac Attack. Mac Attack, congratulations. Having a good night tonight. Scoring twice. 26 events fished with bass. That's probably opens and Elite Series events. 26 events. He's 26 years old. He's fished 26 events, and he's cashed 21 times
Oh yeah.
in the money. Stout.
Ken
Congratulations, Mac Attack.
Congratulations.
Grand prize. Man, I'm still on that
Ken wants to
Jason
know,
Christie
are
tube
we
thing.
talking? Never mind. Which Jason Christie?
Let's not go down that road.
No, don't make that joke to Jason Christie or Jason Christie. Neither one.
Oh, either one.
Neither one.
John Cox and John Cox are a lot more pleasant about having the same name as another dude who fishes. You know.
Yeah, they got good.
Both of them.
They got good sense of humor.
Yeah. But
I'm
still I can't help it. The Jason Christie, the tube, the whole tube thing. I'm often impressed by Jason Christie, and I am yet again impressed with what he was able to do this week. Just knowing that kind of funky bite, you saw a lot of missed fish this week.
Yeah.
A lot of boiling up on a swim jig, missing a buzz bait, swindle getting a 4-pounder 6 inches from the rub rail. That one had to hurt.
I mean,
I think he had some fish under 2 pounds in his bag that day.
Yeah, when back to the tube real quick, but when Ben Milliken was in town, dude, guy can fish, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
Ben's
a great,
just a YouTube content guy, but nope. I mean, I've fished with a lot of these guys that Ben can fish, And Ben
whole thing happened in Texas. Oh, I'm not surprised. The guy fishes all the time.
Yeah.
You swing a hammer. He fishes 300 days a year. You swing a hammer 300 days a year.
Crown molding miters, Ben Milliken. We could catch a fish.
Kidding.
Yeah, miter this.
Of course he can catch him.
He could probably.
Man, he went out to Texas on that whole when they outed that OHIV lake, and never got the invite back. But man, he was on a trip, when all the other guys. I found it really impressive that he got it so dialed in like that, because I know guys who went out there and they didn't get as dialed like that, like just because somebody has like the best fishing trip of a lifetime doesn't mean the guy 200 yards down the bank is catching them. It wasn't a just add water deal. Never is.
He's really good with his electronics.
Yeah.
And that's a big factor. Drew Gregory, he was probably using it like a bigger, heavier split shot rig, so the tube didn't fall down into the water willow at the bottom, but it rather floated up off the bottom over it. JK, thoughts? Rate that answer.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. A heavier version of a split shot rig. Yeah. If he had it pegged, if he had the peg like I was talking about up the line,
peg behind it too.
Then just up front, so that it slides. But that's still a version of a split shot rig, even when you have a slider.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
not really.
Pegging it is. I mean, that's a tidal water technique, and I don't think a lot of people really pick up on that. We fish the Delaware River here. It's a lousy fishery, but I mean, I've been out there with days where the guy behind me has got his bait unpegged, and it made all the difference in the world. When the Elite Series came here, Shaw Grigsby on day 2 talked about the adjustment he made from day 1 to day 2, where he unpegged his soft plastic and how much of a difference that made. And I remember it stuck in my head because Braz, my tournament partner back in, like, he had some days out there, just waxed it with unpegging it. So to me, unpegging it, whatever the plastic is, whether it's a 4-inch worm, a creature bait, a tube, I think it's actually kind of a, has a home in tidal water.
Yeah.
I don't know that this was tidal, right? But this is got current.
Yeah. Denny Brower refuses to peg his weight.
Well, there you go.
I think maybe when he's fishing grass, but he refuses to do it. a lot of guys that are like the best, I'd say, flippers in that category won't peg their weights flipping wood. Then you've got the Terry Scroggins comment from a few weeks ago, man. He's not pegging it punching anymore. 1.5 ounces, 2 ounce weight. He's not pegging. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I peg a lot, but I'm skipping up under docks with this much, 3 inches.
Yeah.
A lot of times with the water's hot. Sometimes I get 6 inches to a foot down here. For me, especially, I think it's from all the time in the back of the boat where you don't have favorable positions and stuff. Out of a necessity for efficiency, pegging, just that simple reasoning for skipping a bait a long way, as far as I can skip it. Pegging allowed me to put that bait tucked up under a place where I can't if it's unpegged.
True.
So I might lose some action qualities and some qualities where I'm dragging it through a brush pile up under a dock or something, but I can't put that bait there if I'm not pegging. But I definitely probably should keep that in mind when I'm not skipping something way up under like we do down here so much.
Trivia coming hot off the presses from Ken Duke.
Oh yeah, what are we giving away?
I say nothing.
Oh, I'm giving away something.
You know what?
I'm putting another prize pack together. Here.
How about here's just a question. Nobody else gives stuff away.
Well, hey, how about I'll give you BTC a mag draft. I'll give you a mag draft so you can shut your pie hole and let me give something away and not get me
we're
in
giving
the
away a trip with Drew Gregory.
Is he doing it right now?
I just gave it away. Drew, send in your information. Wildly tough trivia question for you. I don't even know the answer, so I'm just throwing it out anyhow.
All right, prize pack from JK.
Okay. Oh, there is the answer. So, back in the days when the media, and this is ridiculous, guys, when the media were allowed to fish in the Bassmaster Classic, which outdoor writer caught the biggest bass? If anyone gets this, I will have to reconsider my life decisions, Ken says.
When the media were allowed to fish during practice?
No, during the Classic.
During the Classic.
Yeah, we're talking 70s.
So they literally fished while the Classic was going on?
Yeah.
And had a big bass pot?
I don't know what they had, but they actually let media members fish during the Classic. Isn't that crazy?
You're gonna have to text me the answer so that I can tell you when it comes across the Riz feed here. What are you doing?
Can you see that?
Oh, okay.
I'll text it.
No, you're gonna have to text it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, man, this is back in the 70s. Nobody's gonna get it. I'm not hanging out. JK, we got to wrap this up. But yeah, I mean, if anyone does, Drew Gregory, guide trip. Drew, where are you taking the client out to?
Are you sending me this answer?
Yeah. Yeah. Just waiting to hear back from Drew. I don't know, man. Louis Stout? Is that a lake?
We got. Oh gosh, man, Ken Duke. We're gonna give these guys about 2 or 3 more minutes.
They were allowed to fish it from 1971 to 1984. Oh my God. Biggest fish of each day got cash.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Man. Rick Clunn's got to have some stories about that.
Goodness, man.
All right.
I miss Ken. You need to come south. We need to go fishing with Ken.
Yep. Drew's got a shoal bass guide trip coming up for the winter.
No way.
Yep.
Because I want it. I live in Georgia where shoal bass live. I've still never caught one. No. I need to learn from the kayak master
probably
himself.
Can do. You know what? That's a good guess, Drew.
No, it's a good guess, but it's not.
Yourself. Take tomorrow,
guys. The good thing for Drew is I might get to take him up on it because I don't think our squad is getting it. BTC. I think
they're not getting it.
Ken Duke has stumped the Bass U subscriber squad.
Mark Jeffries, J-Rock on YouTube. You win, dude. Find a way to get a hold of us and prove it's you. You win something.
Oh, that's
in addition
funny.
to your Gregory trip, bud.
Why don't you tell them the real answer?
The real answer. The answer is Larry Mayer of the Columbia Record caught a 713
awesome.
at Gunnersville in 1976. He also co-wrote Roland Martin's 101 Bass Catching Secrets. There it goes.
Well, since Ken Duke stumped him, Ken Duke, send me your address, text it to me if you're watching, and I'm going to send you a nice little prize pack.
Damn.
Including a mag dress.
Come on.
For stumping, we're going to send you some new fresh.
We don't have white ones.
Bass. No, we can't get the white ones.
No.
We got some fish catching color ones, though.
That's
and a color that Ken would catch them on, and I think IU is one of them, maybe brownie. But yeah, Ken.
You're right, Drew.
Send me your address, and we're going to get you a swag bag. He says, you get to Florida, and I'll take you fishing.
Yep.
All right, BTC, we're going to Florida.
I caught one on an
Pete's not invited.
The other day. You ever throw the Amakatsu soft swim?
No.
Ooh.
Oh, yes. That's that one
that
Ike's been throwing for years. He introduced me to that like 6 years ago.
Yeah, nothing more weedless than that thing.
Oh, dude, that thing comes through. You know what? I caught like a 3.5 pounder on that swim bait.
Oh, word?
I did. Yeah. Guess where?
Georgia.
Palatine.
Did you?
Yeah, I was probably a Chesapeake Bay fish at one point in time, but.
All right. All right, we got to wrap up, dude. I haven't eaten. I got a calzone at home. If you guys don't know what a calzone is, it's mine was fried, but it's like this football. It's the shape of a football of dough stuffed with mozzarella and regatta cheese and ham. Fried, dipping sauce on the side. Pics to follow. Check my Instagram. Okay, that's a wrap, dude. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm getting delirious.
Guys,
yep.
Thanks for hanging in there with us. You know, Wes Logan, it's great to talk to him. It's good to talk to a rather confident and loose Pete Glusek. You know, he seems like he's good to go. And so it's good to hear from the boss. We'll be rooting for both the Pete and Mike Iaconelli combo at the James. It'd be fun to see them duke it out at the top. But I won't go on. We should have talked about that some, BTC. But guys, Wes Logan, man, I am so impressed with him. Great questions tonight. We got some great winners. Let's go to bed, man. Yeah. I don't even know how to sign stuff out. I'm just the guy in the background. So I'm going to get back to.
Yeah, guys, check out some of our. Please support some of our sponsors. Empire Covers. We got a promo code for Empire Covers. If you need a cover for anything Bass U 21, 15% off. Check out Sea Clear Power. Again, we have a code for that. Bass U, 15% off Sea Clear Power harness. Gills Gear. Drew Gregory guided trips for shoal bass. All the above, guys. Check it out. I'm going to roll out to this here commercial piece. And, well, guys, we'll see you. Oh, check us out. So we'll be back next Tuesday night, and we should have Matt Pangrak from BTL and Bradley Holman. Bradley Holman should be here in studio with us next Tuesday. They'll be coming off of an ass whooping on the James where they've never fished tidal water before, and they're very confused. But should be a good time.
Awesome, BTC.
All right. That's it.
Thank you, man. We got through it. We did it.
Yeah, this is fun. It's better this way. See you guys.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse, everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail happens every time. The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
I could.
Motor oil. Gotta keep the rust off all these baits. WD-40.
Keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips, the list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle, I fish fast, I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau Tackle Storage Systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned, American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.